Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Good morning and good health to everyone. And how are you doing today? Today is Saturday, January 28th, and we've had a heavy month. And yesterday, on January 25th, they released the video of the young boy, Tyree, who was stopped at a traffic stop and was beaten and unalived by, I think it's 5 cops, maybe it was 6. And it's heavy on my heart, right? Because you and I are talking about conversations with God, right? And because you and I are talking about having conversations with God, right? You know, how do we reach the masses who saw this video and who are now angry? And in my opinion, is now being manipulated by the masses. That Tyree is a victim of a racist America, even though he was taken down by 5 to 6 black cops. It is still the ideology that lives inside of those cops that is defined through the racism that they themselves have experienced and wishes to no longer experience. So they go to the other side and try to annihilate anybody that looks like them because they don't like their own kind or themselves. Tyree is God's example for us to shake up the system, to bring out the fact that there are cops of your same color, and that doesn't have to be black on black. It could be Mexican on Mexican. It could be Puerto Rican on Puerto Rican, who allow themselves to be influenced by the others and insist that they do not have to be kind to their own. It's a training, it's a dismantling of the system, of the family system, of the color system within you. And it doesn't have to be cops that unalive Tyree. Could be a professor at college that doesn't like the hood girl that made it this far. It could be at work when you have an executive that tries to keep you down and she's the same color as you. I just wanted to say that we are not having enough conversations with God. We don't have enough wherefore thou that Tyree came to this world to die for all of us. Everybody's waiting for the second coming of Christ. Oh, Christ, he'll be here. He'll be here. Tyree was Christ. George Floyd was Christ. I just want people to understand that the influence that is going to be passed down at this point is not the hatred of cops. That's not it, guys. It's not the hate. It's the hatred today with Tyree of the black cops. You know how I know there's a difference? There's a difference because on the same day they showed the video of Nancy Pelosi's husband. And somehow or another, how the cops got called and he was actually able to answer the door, I need the backstory to all of that. But he answers the door, and I did not know I was going to be watching this. I clicked on. I thought it was a news commentary, but they wound up showing the whole video, and I was mortified. But here's what bothered me. The video starts from the cop's point of view, pointing his weapon. The crazed man was holding Pelosi's arm or hand, and in the other hand, Pelosi's husband was trying to stop the man from using the weapon on him. And the cop never pulled the trigger because he had enough time to do so. Instead, he waited. I think he said, drop the weapon, don't go by me, because I'm afraid to look at the video again. And in a swift second, the man got the hammer and slammed Pelosi twice. And they never took the man down. They never shot him because he was white. And nobody noticed that. So there's a preference out there, right? So they showed Tyree's video so that black people can get all in the uproar and protest and do all the bad things that they expect us to do. Tear down cars, tear down, buildings and police stations, and, get the nasty angry that they are eliciting. They want this. Only because they can arrest more people and put more people in jail. They want this. They know exactly what they're doing. And this is black on black, right? But somehow, a whole video was shown that same day of a white man attacking the speaker's husband, and he did nothing to him. We got to have more conversations with God. I'm not talking about the book. I give two shits about this book. I care about you and how you're being easily influenced and how we're not going beyond what's in front of us. What's really going on? Because it's more than racism. It's ignorance. And we have to have more conversations with God to grow out of what we've been taught for the last 400 years. It's a spiritual warfare out there, guys. And it's blatant and it's in our face. But with black people, it's always been in our face. White people are discovering how bad it is. collectively. All right, I'm done. I hope I got my point across. I don't want to lecture anymore. It's hard. All right, guys. Let me get something to put on my arms. I feel like I'm having a little bit of a allergic reaction. I had something I never eat. I've been trying to get off of red meat, but I had some lamb yesterday. Oh, let me tell you, it was so good. But this might have to be like a once every couple of months type of thing, not all the time. Just got a little bit of reaction, but I'll survive. I'll only get a bigger reaction if I eat it, meaning lamb, over and over and over again. All right, let's get this party started. Where did I say I was going to start? Okay, I'm actually going to start on page 15. We went over this last week. We read this last week, but I'm just going to go over it again. And 15 at the top of the page. I tell you this. You would live as Buddha did, as Jesus did, as did every saint you have ever idolized. Yet, as with most of the saints, people would not understand you. And when you try to explain your sense of peace, your joy in life, your inner ecstasy, they would listen to your words, but not hear them. They would try to repeat your words, but add to them. They would wonder how you could have what they cannot find. And then they would grow jealous. And soon jealousy would turn to rage. And in their anger, they would try to convince you that it is you who do not understand God. And if they were unsuccessful at tearing you from your joy, they would seek to harm you. So enormous would be their rage. And when you told them it does not matter, that even death cannot interrupt your joy, nor change the truth, they would surely kill you. And then, when they saw the peace with which you accepted death, they would call you a saint and love you again. For it is the nature of people to love, then destroy, then love again that which they value most. Hold on a second. But why? Why do we do that? Says Neil. Get over here real quick and start this video.
I feed birds all the time. The doves have never come, ever. This is too beautiful.
These are the messages you've received. And though they do not meet the criteria and are thus not messages from God, they might as well have been, for they have come from the gods of your universe, surely enough. It was your parents who taught you that love is conditional. You have felt their condition many times, and that is the experience you take into your own love relationships. Hold on a second. Oh my God. It's also the experience you bring to me. From this experience, you draw your conclusions about me within the framework you speak from truth. God is a loving God, you say, but if you break his commandments, he will punish you with eternal banishment and everlasting damnation. For have you not experienced the banishment of your own parents? Do you not know the pain of their damnation? How then could you imagine it to be any different with me? You have forgotten what it's like to be loved without condition. You do not remember the experience of the love of God. And so you try to imagine God's love must be like based on what you see of love in this world. You have projected the role of a parent unto God and thus come up with a God who judges and rewards or punishes based on how good he feels about what you've been up to. But this is a simplistic view of God based on your mythology. It has nothing to do with who I am. Just going to pause here for a minute. I had a client yesterday, wonderful little girl, just so proud of her. Graduated from college, and got stuck for various reasons as a home health aide. And so I did the reading not knowing what she wanted to hear, right? So I did the reading and I say to her, you gotta go. You gotta get out. And you have to do it now. Like, you're dying inside. And she was so cute. She goes, I want to. And I said, then do it. Get out. But I feel guilty, she said. I was like, I understand that guilt emotion, but that guilt emotion was thrust upon you. Get out. Get out now. It has nothing to do with love. It's about the Hakuna Matata of life. No one is giving you permission to do what they did with their own lives, which is be free, date, have sex, make mistakes. Right? I'm like, you're being preserved to live a life that's not meant for you by the people that love you. You know, I said, you're being tricked. You gotta go. And all I kept hearing from her is, that's what I want. I want to. And I want to. And I could feel the passion. And she was young and she was at her Saturn return. And it was a do or die situation. I really felt like if she didn't make this change and get out there and shake it up and find life in her blood, she was going to be stuck here forever. She was too young and too pretty, because you know I do Zoom readings, right? She was too young and too pretty to forget about herself. It was mandated that she get out. But I was fighting a system within her familia who needed her to maintain home health aid. And she doesn't know it. She called me to give her permission to get out. And the card supported that. And I was like, you gotta go. And it just brings me back to this book when, you know, the book is saying, you know, we live our lives because we've made our parents our God. And, you know, she's like, I feel guilty. She feels guilty about leaving her familiar because that's what they put inside of her. When the whole world existed, because we leave our parents to go be with somebody else, to find neighboring friends and people of same likeness, and that's her job. And can you imagine that little girl one day, in about 10 years, having a conversation with God, blaming him for her life being so miserable, unevolved, and feeling unloved? All right, I just thought I'd bring that up. No names mentioned. All right. Let me see what people have to say. Morning, Margaret. Good health. Morning, Nancy. Good health. Oh, morning, Musings. Good health. All right. I didn't mark where I stopped. Okay, let me just get back here. Okay. Having thus created an entire thought system about God based on human experience rather than spiritual truths, you then create an entire reality around love. It is a fear-based reality rooted in the idea of a fearful, vengeful God. Its sponsoring thought is wrong But to deny that thought would be to disrupt your whole theology. And through the new theology, you would replace it, would truly be your salvation. You cannot accept it because the idea of God, who is not to be feared, who will not judge, who has no cause to punish, is simply too magnificent to be embraced within even your grandest notion of who and what God is. This fear-based love reality dominates your experience of love. Indeed, it actually creates it. For not only do you see yourself receiving love which is conditional, you also watch yourself giving it in the same way. And even while you withhold and retreat and set your conditions, a part of you knows this is not what love really is. Still, you seem powerless to change the way you dispense it. You've learned the hard way, you tell yourself, and you'll be damned if you're going to leave yourself vulnerable again. Yet the truth is, you'll be damned if you don't. By your own mistaken thoughts about love, do you damn yourself never to experience it purely. So too, do you damn yourself never to know me, God, as I really am. Until you do, for you shall not be able to deny me forever, and the moment you come for our reconciliation. Every action taken by human beings is based in love or fear. Not simply those dealing with relationships, decisions affecting business, industry, politics, religion, the education of your young, the social agenda of your nations, and the economic goals of your society. Choices involving war, peace, attack, defense, aggression, submission, determinations to convert or give away, to save or to share, to unite, or to divide. Every single choice you ever undertook arises out of one of the only two possible thoughts there are. A thought of love or a thought of fear. Fear is the energy which contracts, closes down, draws in, runs, hides, hoards, harm. Let's highlight that. That's important. That's important. Fear is the energy with which contracts, closes down, draws in, runs, hides, hoards, or harms. How many hoarders do we know? How many hoarders have we been at some point in our lives? Check your closets. It's full of fear. Check the amount of clothes that you have. It's full of fear. The amount of shoes that you have is full of fear. The more you hoard, the more you're making a bigger statement about how you fear you will never have. So you make sure you have more and more and more. It's crazy, right? When you think about it. You know, side note, when I had to move from California to St. Croix, I honestly thought I was living a wonderful life. I really did. I had a beautiful place in a beautiful complex. Gated community, security, management on site. I feared nothing in this complex. Do you know I didn't realize how lonely I was until I had to move? And I went to church, I went to Bible study. I thought I had friends. I don't know. It wasn't until I was forced to restructure my life and couldn't take any of my clothes with me. And the massive amount of clothes that I had, 2 closets full, full, made me more sad when I looked at all the money that I wasted. When I looked at my clothes and realized, here's the saddest thing, I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I had duplicate clothing. I had bought the same dresses twice. One still had the tag on it, always. And it was more embarrassing because I had my assistant helping me. And he was pointing out, he goes, Miss Tracey, you have this twice. And I was like, oh, wow, look at that. And one day he said to me, and I know God was speaking through him, and he said, stop buying. And I was like, yeah, I need to stop buying. But I also need to figure out why I was buying so much. And I know now I was buying so much because it was my version of love. I know now it was fear. When I think about the last place I lived in, I honestly feel like I hid out in that apartment. It was beautiful only because I didn't leave it. So I had to make my world beautiful because it was the only place I stayed. And this was before COVID. Funny thing is, when everybody got shut down in COVID, I wanted to bust out. I used to joke, welcome to my world. The more I said it, the more I found out, that's not funny. I made my own trappings, and I didn't even know it until I was forced to get out by choice. I was forced to get out by choice. Like I made a decision to get out, but I still had to force myself to look at what I had collected over the years. And all I did was collect a pile of shit. Beautiful clothes. And so hoarding is fear. It's fear-based. Hiding. Voluntarily hiding. Voluntarily not dating. It's fear-based. I'm not saying that you're going to find a man that you're, that's the misnomer. Oh, Tracey, I went on a date and, please tell me, is he the one? No, he's not the one. You met him yesterday. You went on a first date that night. No, he's not the one. Relax. A date is a date. Go on another date. Decide if you like his mannerisms. But you can't figure that out in the first couple of dates. You can't even call me to say, I met someone. You know what I say to you when you call me? When? And then the stuttering starts. Because you already know you about to tell me 2 weeks ago. And a lot of you even tell me you've never been on a date, but you text. Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's too fearful to say to the man, I don't really like texting someone that I don't know well enough. So when are we going to go on a date? And if he hems and haws, it's not the one. Don't force it. Don't hide because he made you feel inadequate all of a sudden. Drop him and find another date. Don't close down because all this guy wants to do is text. This guy's collecting numbers. You're one of the many numbers. Recognize the behavior. Move on. Snatch your power back. Don't close down. Don't constrict. Don't hide. Don't feel bad. Don't feel scared. Well, I gotta tell people I went on a date and, it didn't go well. You don't say that out loud. You say that to yourself. And, man, I love going on dates and telling people how horrible it was. It's so much fun. It's so funny. I don't take anything that goes wrong as if it's something that I did. All right, let me see what everybody's saying. Oh, good morning, Ori Naturals. It's the unseen you must know. But we are gods, though, but we must do our job in righteous obedience if people only knew who they were. Well, you're using some big words, big phrases. Righteous obedience. Pull back. There's no such thing as righteous obedience, sweetie. Pull back. If you knew the Bible, there are murderous people that God has said, you're the chosen one. You're using big church words. It's the righteous obedience. But you're right. If people only knew who they were, I think that's the point. But don't you have to know who you are based upon recognizing your shadow side? Don't you have to know that too in order to be a better knowing of who you are? Thank you, Red Roses. Right? So be careful with big church words, everyone. None of us have time for that anymore. I don't want y'all to keep copying church words and not create the proper action behind the words, because if you created proper action, you wouldn't need big church words like righteous obedience. Right? All right. Ori Naturals, how are you doing today? All righty now. Yeah. Still big words though, Mietsu. You have to be truthful to yourself. It's hard. It's hard. People need grace to figure out their truths. I'm speaking from a place of fear. And fear sometimes is placed upon us through the people that say they love us the most. Right? So finding our truthful self sometimes doesn't occur until we're in our adult lives. It may not occur until you're 35. People don't find themselves. People don't know themselves. People don't know their truthful selves. They have to participate. They have to get out of a confined years of development, go away, which is probably the best bet, is to go away to college, because that's where in the 4 years you can figure out some sense of identity. But it's not until you get out into the real world, right? And you make friends. And then you got to measure these friends. And then you figure out some of your friends are trifling, but you don't figure that out until you're 20, 29, 30. Validation. And then you get about 35, 36, 37, and you start to really evaluate who you are. It takes time. So when we use the wrong words and thrust it upon someone, you are being someone's parent, not God, and not loving. Because all this change about righteous development and, know thyself, that shit doesn't come overnight. It's so confusing to get to know thyself. How many people thought they were straight and had to know themselves to figure out that they were gay? It doesn't happen overnight. That happens with some self-discipline and figuring things out. And then they come out, and guess what? You don't accept them because it's about righteous obedience. Love. Love is the energy which expands, opens up, sends out, stays, reveals, shares, and heals. Who has that? Who literally got all of this? Who is this? Who is love? Who is the energy of love? Shannon, of course, I still have a lot to learn about myself, and I'm 56. These past few years have shown me this. Shannon, at least you've cracked the ability to get to know yourself. That's beautiful. That's all God ever wanted for you, is to get to know you and figure out that love is you. So are you expanding, Shannon? Are you opening up? Do you send out the very thing that you know you've been denied? And does love stay in you? Because if love stays in you, you will always push it out. Is love revealing for you? Is love shared? And is love healing you? Because if you're healed, all you will ever want to give to anyone that you ever meet is healing words. Side note, whenever I used to work in the public, I love working in the public, actually. I love it. I don't know how I wound up working out in my house, but sometimes I have to get isolated to meet the masses via Zoom internationally. Like, you never know God's plan. So it's just so funny the way things end up. I had to go in to reach out. Oh my God, he is so funny. And when I used to be amongst the public, I loved saying to people, I loved it. I loved saying to people, I love your hair. And people would say to me, I just got it done. I was like, oh my God, it shows. It's so shiny. And I love the cut. I love saying to people, I love your scarf. That's such a perfect color on you. I love your up. I love saying that to people. You know what I got from people every time I complimented them? Shock. People were always shocked. No one ever said to me, don't I look good, girl? Never. They were always shocked. I don't know if they were shocked because I noticed, or were they shocked, but some people did tell me that, or were they shocked because they never get a compliment? I'm not sure which one it is. Some people did tell me that. Wow, I never get a compliment. Thank you. I was like, girl, please. You're welcome. And you look fabulous. And then it got a little weird, right? I love complimenting people so much. Like they would look at me like, ew, don't talk to me, weirdo. And I was like, oh my God, Tracey, you have to stop. People don't understand what you're pushing out. And it's uncomfortable. And I was like, wow. So then I can't be myself. And then I decided I can be myself. How they take it is their problem, right? Like I'm in the Caribbean right now and everybody's got locks here. Oh my God, everybody got locks. And it's so pretty. And they twist it up and they, bound it and do all kinds of things with it. And they put things in their hair. And all I want to do is tell everybody, I love your locks. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Meanwhile, I got my own locks. And they're looking at me like, and trust and believe, my locks are gorgeous. And they're like, you have nice locks. I go, oh no, yeah, I know I do. I got you. Yours are nice. Not nicer. Nice. Right? I'm pushing out. I'm not jealous because you all got pretty locks. I'm saying, without any comparison, love your locks. I'm moving on. I got other things to do. But in this moment, I give to you. Accept it. Be a part of a bigger system of love, which expands, which opens up, which sends out, which lands and stays, which reveals, which shares, heals. Oh, Ori. Oh, thank you, Ori. You're going to make me cry. Don't you dare make me cry. Whew. Thank you. Thank you. Let me gather my thoughts. Thank you. Back to the book. Fear wraps our bodies in clothing. Love allows us to stand naked. Fear clings to and clutches all that we have. Love gives all that we have away. Fear holds close. Love holds dear. Fear grasps and love lets go. Fear rankles. Love soothes. Fear attacks. Love amends. Let's do that one more time. Hear me well, everyone. Fear wraps our bodies in clothing. Love allows us to stand naked. Side note, in the tarot cards, I think it's Gaia, Oracle of Gaia or something like that. I get these cards where the women are fully naked, fully exposed. And it's such a metaphor when I'm doing readings. And I make the client look at how exposed the woman is. But is she exposed and free? Right? So a good example I can give you, I can only give you my own examples. I'm the age of Bruno. I've got stories to tell. Sit back. Relax. I got many stories. I'm like your grandma. Again, grandma, another story. Sit down. Sit down. I got a story to tell, right? I'm that grandma. And when I first started my YouTube channel, I started my YouTube channel with the softest of voice and hi everyone, and this is Tracey Brown, and I'm going to do another psychic reading. Cut to today where I'm like, I hate that bitch. I hate that, Who the fuck? Like, if you look at my beginning videos to the videos today, somewhere in between, I found myself. Somewhere in between, I recognized that I was conforming to a societal rule. Somewhere in the years, right? I started in 2011. This is now 2023. I had to come to figure out I did not like myself. I did not like my presentation. I did not like what I was producing. I was conforming. And YouTube to this day tries to make me conform. But once I realized I had a voice, not an audience, let me tell you something. I will tell you today, I will tell you tomorrow. I don't care if I have 1 subscriber or 10,000. I would love to have 100,000 subscribers, however, though. Side note. I love exercising my voice. I love exercising racism and how I feel about it. I love exercising the care and the lack of care of women. I love to exercise my voice when women don't take care of women, when men don't take care of women. How can I say that with the full voice from 2011? Well, it's just not nice, you know, when women don't take care of women. No, hoes. No, hoes. Take care of each other. Or be gone. Get out. Because you can't be a part of all of this. Because we got things to do. We got things to say, and we can't say it so politely anymore. Well, that's my theory anyway. But it might be something inside of you. Are you still conforming? Do you need to break free from something? I don't know. Is there change that needs to occur? And trust and believe. You know, there are times when I'm too much. And I have to think back on it later. And I go, okay, you know, you are too much. Okay, spirit, I got you. Got to find that happy medium. It'll take me another 10 years to get there. But get there. Get to the breaking point and then rebuild yourself. But break free. Right? Fear wraps our bodies in clothing. Love allows us to stand naked. Naked meaning, who are you? Naked meaning, not literally, but it's okay if it's literally, but it's not literally. Naked meaning, am I white version 2011 or am I black Tracey version 2023? I like 2023. I got somewhere other than I used to be. Fear clings to and clutches all that we have. My clothes, my hoarding. Nicely organized, still hoarding. Love gives all that we have away. Fear holds close. love holds dear. Fear grasps, love lets go. Fear rankles, love soothes. Fear attacks, love amends. Now, don't get me wrong, in any of these fear aspects, they're in you. They're in you. All of these. Fear clings, it clutches. Fear grasps, doesn't let go. Fear wrinkles and rankles, and fear attacks. You got all of this inside of you. Can you autocorrect it to allowing yourself to be naked and exposed and vulnerable? Can you autocorrect yourself so that love shows up and gives all that we have away? Not to the point of stupidity. It's a metaphor, right? Can you autocorrect yourself so that love is something that you hold dear, not anger? Because the original part of love, to me, is going to be there first. Fear is taught. Can you autocorrect yourself so that love lets go? Can you autocorrect yourself so that love is soothing from you? Can you autocorrect yourself so that love amends? Every human thought, word, or deed is based in one emotion or the other, love or fear. You have no choice about this because there is nothing else from which to choose. But you have free choice about which of these to select. And then Neil says, you make it sound so easy, yet in a moment of decision, fear wins more often than not. Why is that? You have been taught to live in fear. You have been told about the survival of the fittest and the victory of the strongest and the success of the cleverness. Precious little is said about the glory of the most loving. Wow. And so you strive to be the fittest, the strongest, the cleverest, in one way or the other. And if you see yourself as something less than this in any situation, you feel lost. For you have been told that to be less is to lose. Side note. Do you guys remember when P. Diddy had Making of the Band? He had a saying like this, something about the survival of the fittest. Let me see if I can find it. So annoying. I remember that. And I remembered believing in that. Believing in the words of P. Diddy, right? What was it? Let me see if I can find it. P. Diddy phrase. The survivor of the fittest. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there's been other people that had something very similar too. Oh, Lord. Survival of the fittest. I'm not going to find it. The person that survives the most is the person that enacts constant change. That's the real survival of the fittest. To always go with change. But I can't find it. Damn it. Does anybody remember it? Let's see. I'm not a fan of P. Diddy, by the way. Not anymore. Thank God I got there where I could see that he was not a good person to be teaching me anything. Puff Daddy phrase. Oh my God, please let it show up. Is this it? Well, here goes something. I don't know what this is, but it might fit for right now. It's Mobb Deep, and it says, living this day to the day that we die, survival of the fit, only the strong survive. We still living. We live in this till the day that we die. Survival of the fit, only strong survive. All right. That helps, but it's not really what I was looking for. P. Diddy. If you dream, you believe you can do it. No. Oh, here goes. Maybe P. Diddy quote. Yeah, don't be afraid. No, top 40. Success doesn't just land on your lap. You have to work, 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 work. That's not true. One of things that weigh you down. Yeah, I don't like any of P. Diddy's phrases. All right. You know what happens a lot? I will get off this and it will show up. And when it shows up, I can put it in the feed. All right. I can't find it. Well, he had the phrase hanging up on making the band, right? Maybe that's what I should have. All right. Let me see. P. Diddy quote making the band survival of the fittest. P. Diddy's very selfish, by the way. He only cares about himself, no one else. But it would have been a good example to talk about here, but I can't find it. No. All right. If it shows up, I'll bring it up again. Let me see. I'm just still looking, so if I'm getting quiet, I apologize. Nope, not showing up, but it's okay. Sometimes I get obsessed with trying to find what I'm looking for. Let me just go over this last part. If you see yourself as something less than in any situation, you feel lost. You have been told that to be less is to lose. And so, of course, you choose the action fear sponsors. For that is what you have been taught. Yet, I teach you this. When you choose the action love sponsors, right? Choose the action love sponsors, then you will do more than survive. Then you will do more than win. Then you will do more than succeed. Then you will experience the full glory of who you really are and who you really can be. To do this, you must turn aside the teachings of your well-meaning but misinformed worldly tutors and hear the teachings of those whose wisdom comes from another source. There are many teachers amongst you. As always, there have been. For I will not leave you without those who would show you, teach you, guide you, and remind you of these truths. Yet the greatest reminder is not anyone outside of you, but that voice within you. This is the first tool that I use because it is the most accessible. Your voice is the most accessible. That's the first tool that God uses. The voice within is the loudest voice with which I speak because it's the closest to you. It is the voice which tells you whether everything else is true or false, right or wrong, good or bad, as you have defined it. It is the radar that sets the course, steers the ship, guides the journey, if you but let it in. It is the voice which tells you right now whether the very words you are reading or hearing are words of love or words of fear. By this measure, can you determine whether they are words to heed or words to ignore? All right, let's breathe. Let me see what everybody is saying. Sometimes I stop looking at the feed. I am expanding and healing. We all need healing words. Hi, La Rosa. Yes, we all need encouragement. The last 24 hours have been a lot. January has been a lot. Musing says speak. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Back to the book. You said that when I choose the action that love sponsors, then I will experience the full glory of who I am and who I can be. Will you expand on this, please, says Neil? There is only one purpose for all of life, and that is for you and all that lives to experience fullest glory. Everything else you say, think, or do is attendant to that function. There is nothing else for your soul to do and nothing else your soul wants to do. Let's go over that again. There is only one purpose for all of life, and that is for you and all that lives to experience fullest glory. So the only thing we have to do is experience fullest glory. Okay. What does that mean? Everything else you say, think, or do is attendant to that function, fullest glory. There is nothing else for your soul to do and nothing else your soul wants to do. Okay. The wonder of this purpose is that it is never ending. An ending is a limitation. And God's purpose is without such a boundary. Should there come a moment in which you experience yourself in the fullest glory, you will, in that instant, imagine an ever greater glory to fulfill. The more you are, the more you can become. And the more you can become, the more you can yet be. Oh, did you all know that? Are we never trying to be more than yesterday? Is that competition? Just asking for a friend. Am I always striving for more of me to be better than yesterday? Is that never ending? I never stop having to expand me ever? There's no break in expanding? I'm asking for a friend, guys. I'm trying to figure this out too. Did you not know that we're always striving to be the better part of ourselves? Always? Does it make sense though? Does can it make sense? Like, I love flowers, love them. And so when a bush, a lot of flowers in St. Croix, they come from bushes, right? And so when a bush maturates, the next step is the bush to produce flowers. And I'm always surprised. I promise you, I'm always surprised how the bush constantly recreates the flowers. Not that one is any prettier than the other, they all actually look alike. But that the bush maintains the continuous growth of itself. Wow. And it does it in coordination with Creator God. So the bush knows that its constant presence is to constantly recreate these flowers. Constantly, forever and a day. I could die tomorrow, in 100 years, that same bush will grow. That same tree will grow. Does that make sense? Right? When I talk to you about a bush and you, and that we can never not produce and not want to expand and grow and be better tomorrow. But even when you get there, college graduate, even when you get there at the job of your choice, doctor, engineer, politician, maintenance worker, CNA, phlebotomist, that our job every day is to produce a constant growth within ourselves, not a better, right? Although better should go with growth, right? Because that's about expansion. Am I making sense? Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Oh, one of my biggest fears when I do the morning show on Saturdays is, will I make sense? Like, it's the one thing that I pray on, right? It's the one thing that I worry about. And I ask God every day, am I qualified? I know what I want to do, right? I don't always know that I'm capable of doing it. So every Saturday, I pray for guidance. Every single Saturday, I pray because there's a part of me that doesn't believe in me. But I get out there praying that I don't sound ignorant, praying that I'm allowed to receive the messages for you, because I don't know who needs to hear this today. To other people, it might be gibberish, and they might have to leave the feed because it might be gibberish. Oh, I can't stand. Tracy's not being funny today. She's not cussing a celebrity out. I don't like that, Tracy. I mean, I like that, Tracy. I don't want to be this other Tracy. Every Saturday she comes and she reads a book and she gives us these spiritual messages. I'm not saying you do that. I'm saying you do that. And I fear that. I fear that part, right? So that's the part that I pray on, where I say to God, allow me to have everything that I need to have to get to the person that you need me to get to. Allow me to have that. Allow me to read the book and not be judgmental or egotistical. Help me with that, God. Right? All right. I didn't mark where I left off. It's the voice that tells you whether the very words you're reading are the loves of fear. By this measure, you could determine whether words or he's ignored. You said that when I choose the action that love sponsors, then I will experience the full glory of who I am and who I can be. Will you expand on that? There's only one purpose for all of life, and that is for you and all that live to experience fullest glory. That was the bush metaphor. That every time I look at a bush or a tree, that every day it gets to its fullest glory. Its only job is to produce and maintain the flowers that come out of the bush and produce it to its fullest glory every day, every day. Everything else you say, think, or do is attendant to that function. There is nothing else for your soul to do and nothing else your soul wants to do. Imagine if we looked at our bodies differently. And imagine if we had a conversation with our soul. And we say to our soul, here goes some homework. We say to our soul, experience your fullest glory and not judge what that looks like. Imagine if we talk to our temple and we say to our temple, experience your fullest glory. And let your body lead you to your fullest glory. Could your fullest glory be what? Could it be knowledge? Could it be a bird that crosses your path? Hummingbird? Could it be a snake? Like, what is your fullest glory? Is grass your fullest glory? Right? And I'm giving you like other things. I'm not talking about your children. We're not even going to go there yet because I really feel like from this point on, we're going to learn to raise better children, right? We're not talking about your children. Your fullest glory is not your child. What's your fullest glory today? What does your body need to get to its fullest glory from the inside? That's a feeling, right? Everything else you say, think, or do is attendant to that function. There's nothing else for your soul to do and nothing else your soul wants to do. The wonder of this purpose is that it's never ending like that bush with flowers. An ending is a limitation, and God's purpose is without such a boundary. Should there come a moment in which you experience yourself in your fullest glory, you will, in that instant, imagine an even greater glory to fulfill. The more you are, the more you can become. The more you can become, the more you can be. The deepest secret is that life is not a process of discovery, wow, but a process of creation. Wow. You are not discovering yourself, but creating yourself anew. Seek, therefore, not to find out who you are. Seek to determine who you want to be. Wow. Who are you? Who do you want to be? Can anybody that's on here right now give yourself permission to answer that? Who do you want to be in your fullest glory? Think about it. And be careful of your answers. Because this is bigger than you. Who do you want to be? Think about that. Let me hear your answers. You are not discovering yourself, but creating yourself anew. Seek, therefore, not to find out who you are. Seek to determine who you want to be. That is so deep. So, I'll give you a good example. Hold on a second. Let me answer this person. When somebody's kind to me, I'm like, want to respond. All right. No one yet? Who do I want to be? You know, I think I push out every day who I want to be. I want to be loud. I want to be free. I want to be judged for the good that I do. I want people to see me. I want people to hear me. I want people to forgive me. Who do I want to be? I want to be exceptional to you. I want to be in the likeness of how God thought I should be, not how man tried to mold me to be. Most importantly, I want to be free. I don't know if that sounds weird to you guys, but I don't want to be strangled. I don't want to be inhibited. I want to be free. I want to know what that freedom feels like. And I want to be a fighter for freedom, for choice, for acceptance, to just be. I want to just be. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be considered less than. I want to be everything that I am today and hurt no one. And I want people to figure out I am not hurting anyone. I want people, who do you want to be? I want to be accept it as is, but with the knowledge that I am to help. Who do you want to be? I want to be kind. I want to be loved. I want to be loving. I want to be generous with my soul, with my words, with my spirit. I want to be loving with my eyes. Who do I want to be? I want to be better than I am today. I want to get to the next level. I want to be seen. Who do I want to be? I want to be better. Oh, look at you, Shannon. I want to be calm energy. Wow. Wow. I think just by saying it, you're going to produce that now. I think you should put that on a sticky note and put it at your front door. Make it the last thing that you look at before you go out in the world. I want to be calm energy. This is the last thing. Neil says, there are those who say that life is a school and that we are here to learn specific lessons. That once we graduate, we can go on to larger pursuits, no longer shackled by the body. Is this correct? God goes, it's another part of your mythology based on human experience. Life is not a school, says Neil. No, says God. We are not here to learn lessons. No, says God. Then why are we here? God says to remember, recreate who you are. I have told you over and over again. You do not believe me, yet that is well as it should be. For truly, if you do not create yourself as who you are, that you cannot be. Okay, you lost me. Let's go back to the school bit. I've heard teacher after teacher tell us that life is a school. I'm frankly shocked to hear you deny that. School is a place where you go if there is something you do not know that you want to know. It's not a place you go if you already know a thing and simply want to experience your knowingness. Life, as you call it, is an opportunity for you to know exponentially what you already know conceptually. You need to learn nothing to do this. You need merely remember what you already know and act on it. I'm not sure I understand. Let's start here. The soul, your soul, knows all there is to know all the time. Sorry, guys, all the time. Let me just drink something. There's nothing hidden to it, your soul. There's nothing unknown. Yet knowing is not enough. The soul seeks to experience. We can know you can know yourself to be generous, but unless you do something which displays generosity, you have nothing but a concept. Okay, now I get it too. You can know yourself to be kind, but unless you do someone a kindness, you have nothing but an idea about yourself. Okay, now I'm getting it. Now you getting it too? It is your soul's only desire to turn its grandest concept about itself into its greatest experience. Until concept becomes experience, all this is speculation. I have been speculating about myself for a long time, longer than you know I could collectively remember, longer than the age of this universe times the age of the universe. You see, then, how young is young, how new is my experience of myself. This is God talking. It's your soul's only desire to turn its grandest concept about itself into the greatest experience. Until concept becomes experience, all there is speculation. I have been speculating about myself for a long time. This is God. Longer than you know, and I could collectively remember. Longer than any age of this universe times the age of the universe. You see, then, how young is, how new is my experience of myself. This is God talking. And Neil goes, you lost me again. Your experience of yourself? Notice how God is admitting to being as vulnerable, that he's measuring his own experiences. Yes, let me explain it to you this way. In the beginning, that which all is all there was, and there was nothing else. Yet all that is could not know itself, because all that is all there was, and there was nothing else. And so all that is was not. For in the absence of something else, all that is not. This is the great is, not is to which mystics have referred from the beginning of time. Now, all that is knew it was all there was, but this was not enough, for it could only know its utter magnificence conceptually, not experientially. I said the word wrong. Yet the experience of itself is that for which it longed, for it wanted to know what it felt like to be so magnificent. Still, this was impossible, because the very term magnificent is a relative term. All that is could not know what it felt like to be magnificent unless that which is not showed up. In the absence of that which is not, that which is not. Do you understand? God says. And Neil goes, I think so. Keep going. All right. The one thing that all that is knew is that there was nothing else. Right? The one thing that all that is, this is what it is, knew, is that there was nothing else. So let me just take a slight break here. That could be like being a Mormon, growing up Mormon, growing up in a cult. All you know is what is. You did not know anything other than. This is where I think they're going with that, right? And go back to the book. And so it could and would never know itself from a reference point outside of itself. Such a point does not exist. Only one reference point existed, and that was the single place within. The is not is, the am not am. Still, The all of everything choose to know itself exponentially. That's the word, sorry. This energy, this pure, unseen, unheard, unobserved, and therefore unknown by anyone else energy, choose to experience itself as the other, as choose to experience itself as the utter magnificent it was. In order to do this, it realized it would have to use a reference point from within. It reasoned quite correctly that any portion of itself would necessarily have to be less than the whole, and that if it thus simply divide itself into portions, each portion being less than the whole, could look back on the rest of itself and see magnificent. And so, all that is divided in itself becoming in one glorious movement, that which is this, and that which is that. For the first time, this and that existed quite apart from each other, and still both existed simultaneously, as did all that was neither. Thus, three elements suddenly existed: that which is here, that which is there, and that which is neither here nor there, but which must exist for here and there to exist. It is the nothing which holds the everything. It is the non-space which holds the space. It is the all which holds the parts. Can you understand this? Are you following this? Neil goes, I think I am. Actually, believe it or not, you have used such a clear illustration that I think I'm actually understanding this. I think I'm actually understanding it too. I think if nothing goes beyond itself, then all you know is within. You know nothing else. But simultaneously over there, let's say in Ireland, somebody could be having the same experience of the same insular energy, never knowing that there is something outside of itself. Right? I think. Hold on. Thus, three elements suddenly existed: that which is here, that which is there, and that which is neither here nor there, but which must exist for here and there to exist. If it is nothing which holds that everything, it is the non-space which holds the space. It is the all which holds the part. I'm trying to figure this out because I feel like this is more about intelligence, right? That if you have a limited source of intelligence, that's all you know is that limited source of intelligence. And you can't imagine the expansion of something other than, like racism. If all you know is your world, you can't imagine being around, you just can't imagine being around somebody other than. And what if someone of another culture only knows their world, and they too cannot imagine that there is something outside of the world that they know? Right? Right? All right. I think I must stop here because I think I need help here. I think I'm going to call on some of my masterful group mates to maybe theorize what is being said at this part. I think I need help. And I think I need clarity. And I think I need the words of others, right? And maybe that's what's exactly happening here when I say intelligence, right? If all I know is my belief system, even in reading this book, and somebody can expand on this belief system better than I have to figure out that there are resources available for me to understand that it's important to go out of myself and find those that can help clarify what's going on here for me then to come back and explain it to you better. So I'm going to stop here and I'm going to elicit the spiritual experts in my group meet to help me, if that's okay with you. Sometimes we have to know when we've reached a limit, and in order to grow intellectually, I've got to understand my limitations, and I've got to close the book, and I've got to seek the help of others, which I'm excited to do. So I hope they're ready to help me. I hope they want to help me. They will. I'm not worried. All right, everyone. I hope this session, as Tanisha puts it, had some meaning. I pray. Remember, I know my job. My mama told me years ago, and I never understood it when I was a kid. But she said to me, and she only said it to me, you only need to change one person in your lifetime, and you've done your job. I pray that I got through to more than one person today. I pray. Because whoever I get through to, you change the world. You become a better person. You become a great parent and raise amazing kids. That's my prayer. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. Oh, I forgot to put my, I had this whole video to play.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.